Hey, man, I'm super excited to be speaking to you guys tonight. Who is enjoying Youth Night so far? Oh, okay, you guys hate it. I said, who's enjoying Youth Night so far? Hey, man, I'm super excited to preach, super excited for this night. If you guys haven't met me, my name is Cam. I have the honor of being your youth director right here at our Matthews location. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. It's amazing what we get to be a part of. But I'm going to be preaching to you guys today. I'm super excited. Before I begin, I want to give honor to the pastors of this house, Pastor Stephen, Pastor Holly, Pastor Tim within our youth ministry, Pastor Philip, Pastor Chelsea. Man, the way that you guys have vision for us, the way that you guys care for us, the way that you guys honor the people of this house, man, it's an honor to be a part of this and a great opportunity to be in front of all of you guys. So with that being said, I want to give one more shout out to a very special someone, my beautiful wife, Alyssa Joy McCartney. Girl, you fine. Okay. Anyway, all right. Let me chill before I act up in here. All right. Hey, babe, I just want to say I love you so much. I'm so grateful that I get to do this journey with you, and I'm so excited to see what God has for the rest of our future. I love you. I love you. Who's excited for the word tonight? All right, I'm going to need you guys to take it a little bit easy on me because this is my very first time preaching to y'all, so take your time with me, all right? If you got your Bibles, you got your phones, whatever you use, turn with me really quick to 1 Samuel 23, 15 through 18. 1 Samuel 23, 15 through 18. I'll give you a little bit of context to the story. I feel like it's going to be very helpful for you guys to understand where the character that we'll be talking about is coming from, where he is in the story, where he came from, and the end of it, where he's going. So, how many of you guys have heard about the story of David and Goliath? Show of hands, a little bit. Some of you guys are like, I heard it as like a fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale. This is the Bible, y'all. We won't be playing no games around here. Okay? So, if you guys don't know, David was the son of this man named Jesse, and David had a lot of brothers. David was a shepherd in the field, and his brothers were in the military, fighting wars. So one day, Jesse goes to David and says, hey, go ahead and DoorDash your brother some food. So he's like, all right, I got this. So he goes over there. They're fighting this army called the Philistines. Everybody's super scared because they have this giant man. Some people say he's like 9, 10 feet tall, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to fight him. There's no way we could do this. And David said, oh, yeah, I can take him. I can take him. I got this. So long story short, David defeats Goliath. He's anointed to be king over Israel. The only issue is, y'all, is that there's already a king over Israel, and his name is Saul. You see, Saul starts to grow this bitterness and this pride, and his ego starts to take place of his throne because he starts to see that David, as he starts to serve him, starts to get more influence, he starts to get more followers, he starts to get more clout, and he starts to notice that David is becoming a better king than he has ever been to the land of Israel. Anybody have a person like that in your life? David is growing influence, and Saul says, I am not going to destroy my kingdom for anybody. I'm not going to give up my throne for anybody. I will kill David if I have to do it. So we pick up right here, 1 Samuel 23, 15 through 18. We're going to jump right in, y'all. It says, while David was at Horish in the desert of Ziph, he learned that Saul had come out to take his life. And Saul's son Jonathan went to be with David at Horish and helped him find strength in God. Don't be afraid, he said. My father Saul will not lay a hand on you. You will be king over Israel, and I will be second to you. Even my father Saul knows this. That's the wild part. The two of them made a covenant before the Lord. Then Jonathan went home, but David remained at Horish. As a youth ministry, we have been looking through our lives. We've been looking at this concept of growing pains. How many of you guys love the album Growing Pains? You love it in your youth catalog. How many of you guys love your e-group leaders? I love what we're doing within this youth ministry because we have a true understanding that life sometimes has growing pains. Faith sometimes has growing pains. It's not always easy. I don't know who told you Christianity was going to be easy, but it is harder than living the outside life. It's hard. But what I love about what we're doing is we're understanding that faith sometimes has growing pains. So as I was building out my sermon, as I'm prepping my sermon, I'm meeting up with Chelsea and Philip every single week to make sure that this word is good for you guys. I started to wonder, in what point in my life have I had growing pains? I'm going to bring this word. I'm going to be vulnerable with y'all. I'm going to keep it real. At what point have I had growing pains? I started to think back to this time that me and my beautiful wife, Alyssa, you fine, we started to move. We got married. We're from Orlando, Florida. And during quarantine in 2020, we really felt like in our engagement, the Lord was telling us, I have something special for you in Charlotte. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it looked like. But we were like, okay, we're coming into alignment. We both feel this thing on our hearts. We're going to move. So we got married in September of 2020. Got married that Sunday. Honeymooned in Orlando. And went back home, packed up our bags that Saturday, and drove up to Charlotte. No plan at all. No nothing. Moving on to word because we knew that God had something special for us. The cool thing about it is that it was actually kind of fun. Like some of you guys were like, you're crazy. I was like, no. We had this thing where it was like, it's fun. We always said it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. So we stayed in an Airbnb for 1 month, and then we stayed with this beautiful family in the front here, the Wilson family. Shout out Will, Rebecca, and the kids. I love you guys so much. We stay with this amazing family. If you guys don't know Will, he is our youth director at our University City campus. But that is what you guys know him as. I know Will as a big brother. I know Will as a mentor, and I know Will as family, and I know Rebecca as the same. So when we stayed with them, we were like, oh, cool. Like, this is going to be great. Like, me and Alyssa get to live with our marriage mentors, like, they're brother and sister to us. Like, this is going to be fantastic. And we stayed with them for 6 months. Somebody say 6 months. 6 months we stayed with these guys in their bonus room. Does anybody know what a bonus room is? Anybody have a bonus room at home? See, where I come from in Florida, we don't got no bonus room. So I was like, oh, okay, we just going to stay in this random room y'all got in the back corner. All right, we'll run with that one. We will run with that one. You see, the thing about the bonus room was that as much as it was a blessing, and I so honor these people for housing us because they are the big reason of why we are where we are today. As we started to live in this bonus room and do life with them, we were like, oh, this is so fun. And then I started to go into this position in my mind of like, God, what happened to the promise that you gave me in Orlando, though? What happened to the promise that you gave me when I was on my knees in the middle of quarantine and I couldn't get out of my house? That was you speaking, right? Or did I hear you wrong? Did I lead my wife wrong? Did I lead my life wrong? How did I miss this? Am I missing something, God? How am I stuck in this place? How am I stuck within the bonus room? See, the title of my sermon that I would love for you guys to take notes on, if you're not taking notes, please take notes because you're going to want to use this for the rest of your life. I promise you that. The title of my sermon is Bonus Room Blessings. You see, I understand that the bonus room is the only room that's purpose is dependent on the person. The bonus room is the only room that's purpose is dependent on the person. It's whatever you want to make of it. It's whatever you want to make of it. You see, the bonus room is the place that positions you for God's promise. No matter what age, ethnicity, or background you're from, we all have a bonus room. The bonus room can be seen as an internal or external struggle, a mindset that we can't shake or break, a pattern or behavior that never really serves us well. I just came to tell you today that the only way you find blessing in this bonus room is by the way that you respond to it. The bonus room is never really designed in a house. When you think about the way that they design houses, it's never really a room that is titled a bedroom or a bathroom. Its design is really dependent on the owner of it. See, the bonus room is not the place that you really want to be, but it's the place that could bring your greatest blessing. I wonder what your dream bonus room looks like. See, when I was thinking about the bonus room, I was like, yeah, like we don't got this in Florida. Like, there's no way. Like, what is this room? And as I started to look up, as I was writing my sermon, I was starting to Google, what is a bonus room even? Like, what is this space? What is this thing? And I started to notice that a lot of people have this dream bonus room idea. See, a lot of people, they'll go on Google and they'll say, this is my dream bonus room idea. And some of that looks like, I want a gym in my bonus room. Or I want a library in my bonus room. Or I want a home theater. Some people got a walk-in closet. I really don't know what you do with that much clothes. I'm a sneakerhead, so I'll probably keep all my shoes in there. But besides that, I don't know what you do with that much room. There's so much things you could do with your bonus room. I just wonder what your dream bonus room looks like today. Does your dream bonus room look like having better relationships? Does it look like beating that addiction that you can't face? Does it look like changing your character and having God move in that? Does it look like having a healthier mindset, struggling with depression and anxiety? Does it look like God shaping the way that you actually think and practicing that? Or does it even look like, I'm going to get very real with y'all, does it look like alleviating the pain that that person caused you 12 years ago? I wonder what your dream bonus room looks like. See, my dream bonus room is I was going through this process and I was facing this tension. I was like, God, you promised me a foundation, a family, all of these great things, and now I'm stuck within this space that I can't even call my own. What do I do with this? What is this for? And I remember praying to God so many times, God, get me out of this, and if you can't get me out of it, destroy it. But what I've come to understand is that God is in the business of renovation. If he destroys the room, all you'll have left is rubble. I'm going to repeat that. If he destroys the room, all you'll have left is rubble. You see, I understand that God's plan and purpose is for you to have something to show while you're in this bonus room. See, the bonus room can be a place where you find unmet expectation, or it can be a place where you find fresh revelation. I just came to tell you that the choice is yours. What are you searching for in there? What are you searching for? You see, you have to understand that we have to adjust our mindset from a ruin mindset to a renewal mindset. Because God's desire is to make the place that was intended for ruin as a place of rest. The only way that there is rest is for there to be restoration. And we have to give God that space to restore and renovate our bonus room. So I just want to give you guys, I know I'm talking up here, I just want to give you guys 3 steps. 3 steps that God gave me when I was in my bonus room position that positioned me for my promise. First step is acceptance. Somebody say acceptance. Acceptance looks like accepting your situation, and this will give you proper perspective about what the bonus room actually is. You see, when you respond with acceptance, it opens up space for God to prepare you for his promise. We go back to verse 15, it says, while David was at Horish in the desert of Ziph, he learned that Saul had come out to take his life. As soon as I saw this thing, I was like, oh, okay, he just had to come into acceptance that Saul was actually trying to kill him. Because you see, a lot of times, it may not be you, but a lot of times as humans as a whole, not even a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, I know some 40 and 15-year-olds that do this. We as humans can often lie about, we can run from, we can blame others for our bonus room, all because it's not the place where we think we should be. And what I would love to talk to you about in this point is the idea of cluttering your bonus room. We can so often clutter our bonus room. Some of you guys may be like, what does that look like? See, when you clutter your bonus room, you clutter it with relationships that don't serve you well. You clutter it with addictions, behaviors. But for me personally, the way that I cluttered my bonus room inside my heart, not in the Wilson's house, but the way that I cluttered my heart was having calculations of what I think God should have been doing within that moment. God, you promised me this, so you should be moving like that. And then when he doesn't do it, I get more frustrated and I get more angry because it's not the way that I think my promise process should be going. But I tell you right now that God's plan is better than the plan that you have. The earlier you get that, the earlier you get to maneuver throughout that room. I just wonder, how are you cluttering your bonus room? See, the more that we clutter our bonus room, the easier it is for us to get lost in what God is actually doing and who God is making us to be. When we clean the clutter with the right intentions, we make room for God to move on our behalf. Some of you guys may be like, okay, Cam, I get this. You're spazzing on me right now, but how do I clean my bonus room? See, the way that we clean the clutter within our bonus room is by falling into, which is my second point, if you're taking notes, alignment. Some of you guys may be like, what does that look like? I've also heard from youth a lot of times within youth ministry. I've heard, Cam, how do I know what my promise is? How do I know that I'm on the right track? How do I know that I'm doing this thing correctly? And simply the way that I would love to break it down is by falling into alignment. This is the way that I see it. When we fall into alignment, we must learn to take action within right intentions. See, when you respond with alignment, God moves on your heart to respond to each situation in a way that he desires, in a godly way, in a holy way. But we have to learn how to fall into alignment. Is Corbin and Dalen in the room? Where y'all at? My boy. If you guys don't know Corbin, Corbin is one of the guys. He's in our youth ministry. He serves on our weekend team. And Corbin's dad actually onboarded me to get this job. I love LB. I love LB so much. But one thing that I love about LB is the wisdom that he just has. It's incredible. the number one thing that I took from my onboarding process with LB is the understanding, and he told me this, and I hold it so tight. He says that there's a difference between having good intentions and actually being intentional. It's a huge difference between the two. So I ask you this question. Are you just having good intentions, or are you actually being intentional? If we go back into Scripture, I'm not going to hit y'all too hard. We can read the Bible, and I can give you a little bit of a breather. 1 Samuel 24, 1 through 5, we'll dive right into it. It says, after Saul returned from fighting the Philistines, he was told that David had gone into the wilderness of En-Gedi. So Saul chose 3,000 elite troops from all of Israel and went to search for David and his men near the rocks of the wild goats. At the place where the road passed some sheepfolds, Saul went into a cave to relieve himself. But as it happened, David and his men were hiding farther back in that very cave. Now's your opportunity, David's men whispered to him. Today the Lord is telling you, I will certainly put your enemy into your power to do with as you wish. So David crept forward and cut off a piece of the hem of Saul's robe. You have to understand that the robe for a king is very valuable. Anybody is a sneakerhead in here? Love sneakers, love clothes, love fashion. So imagine if one of the guys that you rock with or one of the girls that you rock with just came behind you and like scuff your SBs really quick and like step back. Or like they scuff your Jordans. That's exactly what David did within this moment. He just scuffed the J's, y'all. I just want to make it plain. But then David's conscience began bothering him because he had cut Saul's robe. And that is the part that I want to hit on. Because I was so caught up in this, I was like, why is he so stressed? When he knows that he's supposed to have the kingdom, he's just mad or he's frustrated or his conscience is bothering him because he cut off a piece of the robe. Like he scuffed the J's and he's this upset. What's going on? But what I understood is that in that process, David got to understand more of who God is actually making him to be. It was about the character. It was about his character. You see, the more that you take action and engage in the process, the more you discover who you really are. The process will always serve you better than the product. You have to come to the understanding that who God made you to be is way better than the person that you think you should be or even what culture tells you to be. The only way that you really find this, though, is by having patience. I know that it's hard to like go through life and you just want it all at one time, but if you don't have patience, you won't see the promise. Trust me on that. Patience is the greatest supporter of action. I've come to understand that it's not a matter of striking, but knowing when to strike. It's knowing when to strike. If you guys know me a little bit, I love, like when I say love, I love basketball. Love basketball. If you follow me on Instagram, I am posting the Miami Heat every single day, and I'm not ashamed of it. But my love for basketball really grew when I was in 6th grade, and imagine me as, you see me right here, like 6'1", 6'2". I'm probably a good 4'11", 5 foot, super chubby, and I'm trying out for the basketball team, y'all. Trying out for the basketball team. All my friends are playing. I'm like, yo, I'm going to try and get up here, but y'all are super athletic. I don't know if I can do this. So the cool thing about basketball practice and basketball tryouts was that coach would give us this drill, and he would call it handling drills or dribbling drills, whatever you want to call it. They're interchangeable. And we would grab the ball, and he would say, all right, guys, I want you guys to get down. He would say, grab the ball, pound it on your right, pound it on your right, pound it on your right. And I'm like, oh, my God, what is this guy? What's happening? So I'm pounding it on my right, and he would say, switch. I'm like, switch where? What are you talking? This is not what LeBron James is doing. So I say, okay. He said, switch to your left. Pound it on the left. Switch to the right, pound it to the right. And then he'll hit me with this point. And then he'll say, there's a defender right here now, attack the basket. And I say, hold up. I'm 5 foot. This 12-year-old 6'2". How you want me to do this, coach? But what I got to understand is that coach wasn't just trying to have me attack the basket just to attack the basket. He was trying to help me understand that I have to learn how to handle the ball and then learn how to create space if I ever wanted to score. See, the thing that we do within our life a lot is that we try to attack without learning how to create space. You have to learn how to create that space for God. I just want to know how you're handling your bonus room. What are you doing within your life? How are you practicing how to handle your bonus room? See, the more that you handle the bonus room with good intentions, the more character is built to hold God's promise. We look at it in James 1, verse 2 through 4. It says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." See, acceptance will always lead to alignment, but then alignment will lead to my third point, and that is access. You see, access, this idea of access, this thing happens when we acknowledge our situation and then take action in order to become aligned with God. See, access opens up your heart to respond to God with the honor that he's just worthy of. It's not a matter if you give me what I want. It's not a matter if you fulfill whatever thing. Lord, you are worthy alone, and that is the access that you truly need, because when you have his spirit, you have access to everything you need. You have access to everything you need. If we look in 1 Samuel 24, 16 through 22, and I can have the band come up at this point. 16, it says, "When David had finished speaking, Saul called back, 'Is that really you, my son David?' Then he began to cry. And he said to David, 'You are a better man than I am, for you have repaid me good for evil. Yes, you have been amazingly kind to me today, for when the Lord put me in a place where you could have killed me, you didn't do it. Who also let his enemy get away when he had him in his power? May the Lord reward you well for your kindness you have shown me today. And now I realize that you are surely going to be king, and that the kingdom of Israel will flourish under your rule. Now swear to me by the Lord that when that happens, you will not kill my family and destroy my line of descendants.'" Verse 22, this is the part that got me. "So David promised this to Saul with an oath. Then Saul went home, but David and his men went back to their stronghold." I was if I could be honest, I was kind of mad at David at this point. Because for Saul to say that you will surely be king and then walk away and leave him in the stronghold just shows me that he wasn't truly respectful of the call of God on his life. But then I also look in the eyes of David. I put myself in both situations. It's like, if I was David and you told me I'm going to be king, then give me my kingdom now. Give me my promise now. Give me what I deserve now. Give me what God has already given me now. But what David understood is that it's not about position, it's about posture. It's about posture. What is the posture that you have when you know you're anointed for one place, but you're stuck in the other? What is the posture if you never leave the bonus room? See, God cares more about how we posture ourselves to hold his spirit so that we can have the place, position, and purpose that he has for us. But we only understand how to posture ourselves for our promise when we change our perspective in response to the bonus room. You see, I told you guys I was in the bonus room physically, but I was also in the bonus room mentally and spiritually and emotionally, and I was going through it. And as I went through these processes of just like accepting my situation for what it was and aligning myself with God and understanding that I had access to him, the Lord whispered this to me one day. He said, "The more that you seek my face, the more you look like me." And I was like, "God, what do you mean? Like, I'm stuck in this place. I just got a job. I put in 500 applications before I found my first job. And now I have this place, and now I'm starting to feel God moving in my life, and I'm starting to feel the wheels turn, and I'm starting to feel all of this great stuff." I'm like, "God, what do you mean I look like you?" You reminded me of this verse. We actually just celebrated Easter last week. We look at the verse in Luke 22. It says, verse 42, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me." This is Jesus talking in the garden right before he's about to get crucified. And we know the end of the story. He rises again, and we have life in Christ, and that's the best thing that we could ever have. That's the best gift that we could ever have. But I love this moment right here because he says, "If you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will be done, but yours be done." And I always heard that in church. I was like, oh man, like Christ was praying and he sweat blood and all this stuff, and he was crying, and that's really cool. But I read that for myself. The second part, the posture was cool to me, but it was the second part that showed that there was an angel from heaven that appeared and it started to strengthen him. What I came to understand when God told me this is that the more that you seek after me, the more that I'll strengthen you. I'll strengthen you for your promise. God will give you the strength in the midst of your suffering so that his promise for you can come to pass. But all you have to do is posture yourself to receive. So the number one thing we have to do is posture ourselves to receive. See, I know that there's a lot of people in here that you have your own bonus room. I'm not talking about the room next door. I'm not talking about your bedroom. I'm talking about this place where you feel all of this tension. This place where you feel this internal struggle or you feel this external struggle to get what you need in order to feel fulfilled. But what I came to tell you today is that there is blessing not only from the bonus room, but there is blessing within the bonus room. There's blessing within the bonus room.